Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the PRC-IAPN Roundtable. As always, thank you for tuning in and being a part of our discussion. And tonight is just going to be three of us. It's going to be Reverend Edward, myself, and Sarah Diaz, our witch brother from Boston.
Yeah.
I want to welcome Sierra, and uh, this is going to be a little. I think this is going to be a shorter topic tonight, since it's just the three of us. So let's get the ball rolling here. Go ahead, Ed.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the roundtable. Tonight's discussion is on coming out of the broom closet, or the proverbial broom closet, so to speak. And it's something that I feel is a very important topic because the fact is that we have a situation where a lot of us are still in the broom closet. We want to be practitioners of the craft. We want to start learning the witchcraft and stuff like this, and start learning alternate spiritualities, but we're afraid of how others are going to perceive us or take us when thing. Now, this occurred a lot more heavily in the 80s and 90s than it has now because witchcraft has become a lot more acceptable and accessible. But the thing about it is, still we have that whole questioning of, well, how do we come out of the closet, a broom closet, and how do we let people know we're witches? What are some of the things that we may need to, we're going to hear? What are some of the things that we're going to be, what are some of the comments going to be made, and how do we address them when they occur? So at this venture, this is what we're going to start talking about. And I want to drop it over to you first, Sharon, because I know, walk around very publicly.
I do.
You're definitely out of the broom closet, so to speak. So
I came out the broom closet in high school, actually, at 17, my sophomore year. That's when I really listened to what my elders were telling me. Basically, what I'm saying now is, when I tell people be the witch you want to be, not the witch you want the world to see. My elders, if you want to call them, they used to always tell me, just be yourself. That no matter how good you feel upon yourself, someone's always not going to understand what you are. You keep that strangeness to yourself until someone adapts into that strangeness that you want to give out. Not everybody will adapt to it. In fact, not everybody's going to meet you halfway. So there is a precaution, but there's also a sense of freedom when you do come out of the witchy closet, because you yourself are proclaiming what you are and what you want to follow in your belief. So there are going to be people out there that's going to hate. There are people out there that's going to curse you and probably damn your soul to all damnation for all we give a shit. Sorry, for all we care. So my thing is, ignore all that. Still be you, no matter what people's going to say. You want to come out the witchy closet, you want to go out there and be yourself and express yourself like the witch you are and want to be, then do it. Then just be yourself. That's the most important thing. I think the main ingredient is that coming out the closet is being yourself. Being respectful to yourself, so you can be respectful towards others, so you can give them the knowledge of what this stands for right here. So there's a lot of misconception of what this stands for in a lot of people's eyes in different religions. That's another warning I got to give the ones coming out. Like I said, they're not going to meet you eye to eye. So be strong enough to withhold them hits you're going to get from people. Still stay true to yourself. So coming out the closet, come out the closet. Just always keep your all three of your eyes open.
Right. And we know that, in fact, I've had this discussion on several of my chats that I've had, that there are still those out there who are not willing to do this just due to the fact of their professional position, which I completely understand. And that's, that's perfectly fine in my book. So that's perfectly fine. Now, the ones that, say, for instance, our newcomers that are just getting started, and seems like they're coming across all this wrong information, which is something that's got to change in the community. Because if you're giving out bad information, you're going to lead somebody down a path that they have no business being on, and
I agree.
it's going to wind up leading to more issues in time. So, the more that you learn, the more that you ask questions, the more that you talk with more experienced people in the community, the better off you're going to be.
I agree with that.
I totally agree with what you're saying, Earl, and this is something that we face in the pagan community on a regular basis and daily.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, one of the things we need to do is be able to express ourselves a little more openly, but at the same token, to express ourselves with some knowledge and awareness. Seek out those who do know.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Seek out those who still do know, who know the truth. Okay, but at the same token, we want to also express yourself correctly. And the thing about it, like for example, when I get asked about this, my pentacle, they go, you're a Satan worshiper? Is that a sign of Satan? Right? And my answer to them is, no, it's not. I'm not a Satan worshiper. I don't believe in Satan.
Oh.
I believe there's inherent good and evil in all mankind. Okay, and this is a symbol that represents the universe and life. Well, how does it represent life in the universe is some of the next question I get. And the answer is the pentacle represents the five elements that make up life: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, surrounded by the universe or the circle. I said the reason people look at this and think it's a Satan thing because of Anton LaVey in the 1950s utilized the pentagram, which is the reverse pentacle,
Thank you.
as a
Mm-hmm.
symbol to represent Satanism, because he was bastardizing the Catholic faith because of the religious abuse he went through with his mother. And the thing about it is, a lot of people aren't aware of this. But if you make them aware, do your research, folks.
Thank you. Research.
You young witches coming out and just coming up, and do your homework. There are plenty of us elders out here you can ask questions. Sharon, you have a fantastic web group,
Mm-hmm.
set of groups actually that you can.
Yeah, my groups are We Are Witch, We Are Young Witches, My Craft, and for the Spanish speaking witches that don't speak a lick of English, we have We Are Witch Latino. The We Are Young Witches are more focused on the young witches that want to come out or coming out. These are choices that you
Mm-hmm.
want to make personally, but also if you have questions, there are elders and big administrators in my group that are very knowledgeable, and what it is probably can help you in knowing what to do next in your life and how to come out as a witch.
And there's also
Sorry.
There's also other websites like my website, for example, the PRC-IAPN.org is a extraordinarily concise reference on paganism. On what paganism is. I mean, it's one of the biggest on the internet today.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all references and resources. And hi to Christy, who's joined us in the audience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are all references that are very important. Do your homework, get your references. If you feel like practicing a spirituality, and recognize that witchcraft is a spirituality. This is a religion or a spirituality. This is not just something we just do to be cool, to be the new thing or the fad thing or thing. This is something we live, breathe, eat, sleep. This is who we are. as
Right.
individuals. And this is something I want to remind you newcomers into the craft. If this is truly the path you want to follow, then seek out the elders. And I think the rest of my panel will totally agree with me on this.
Oh
Yes.
yes,
The more
most
questions you
definitely.
ask, the more you're gonna know.
Right. And I will say that I'm very happy to be a part of all of Sierra's groups.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
and as I've already spoken a few times, and then along with my own site with the
Hmm.
IAPNradio.net, which I've tried very hard to have accurate information and positive information going out,
Yes.
um, as well as all of these videos on our YouTube page, um, so that it gets out the right information to everybody. Because that's what that is my whole thing here, is to making sure that all the information that we are portraying is positive, it's correct, and it's going to get our newcomers started on the right path. Uh, the first rule is always know thyself.
Bingo.
You gotta start with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I want to stress to the newcomer in the craft is self-awareness is the key. The first three goals of the which is know thyself, then it's know thy craft, and then practice thy craft with wisdom. You can't practice your craft with wisdom if you have no self-awareness and no self-knowledge. Whenever I do my teachings, I teach my students to self-awareness all the way through. For their first whole year, 2 years of craft study, it's nothing but self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's lessons on self-awareness, and it's a key to becoming self-aware. Now, one of the things you're going to get questioned if you're out there in the public eye. I mean, people are going to look at you all sorts of sideways and crooked, right? They're
Hmm.
gonna they're gonna sit there and see those television images of either Charmed, Bewitched, or you might even see the old. They might even think, well, witches look like a hag, right? Or hags or stuff like that. Or a witch's hat, which I love your hat, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I walk
Even
all day with my staff
and your stuff, right? But you'll get weird looks from people. You'll get people going,
every day.
you know, that you're they'll try to stereotype you and stuff like that. Well, hocus pocus, we don't eat children. Exactly, Christy. We don't eat children.
Uh-huh. Right.
I'm diabetic. I can't have humans.
But thing about it is, you get the stereotypes, and there's people who are going to look at us with the stereotype. The point of the matter is, it's how you deal with those type of people, and the way you deal with those type of people. In all honesty, is people every time someone passes a judgment, they're pointing a finger. When you point a
Oh,
finger, how many are pointing back at you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Double that amount.
they're passing a judgment upon you. They're judging themselves based upon what they are observing in you.
they're not even unaware of the damage they're doing to themselves.
So if that's the case, and you can learn to accept that and not be so offended, and that's the key in today's society, is quit being so offended.
Thank you.
Everybody is offended by every little thing. And it's like, if you're a witch, you're going to be offended. You're going to have a lot of people offending you in so many ways.
It's gonna happen.
Get over it.
Right.
Get used to
It's
it.
gonna happen.
It's going to happen. I've been called a Satanist. I've been called Satan works for. I've been told I'm going to hell.
Last what was it? Yeah, last Wednesday I was walking here and there's some construction going on right here. So the three guys and the two girls that were there working, they see me walk around most of the day. So they had the courage to actually stop me and ask me, may I ask you a question? I said, yeah. I'm like, this ain't Satanism and all this stuff, right? I'm like, no, it isn't.
Finally.
This is witchcraft. I'm like, oh, so the difference is the way you look at it, the way they twist. I'm like, yep, if you twist it this way, you got something. If you twist it this way, you got us. And I told her what it represents. Now she's eager to actually join my group and learn more.
Good.
You always, like I said, like Brother Edward said, you will encounter a lot of hate out there. A hate because it's a hate that they do not understand, is very unknown to them.
Yeah,
But if you stay true to yourself, like Edward said, there's a way to handle this and there's a way not to handle this.
Right. And I've actually had to correct two people because they see they've seen mine, and uh first thought that came across their mind was, oh, Star of David. It's like, no, sorry. That's got a couple more points.
I got that a few times too, believe it or not.
Yeah, and it's like, no, that one's got a couple more points to it.
actually, it only has one more point to it, the 6-point Star David, but yeah. And Star David is not encased by a circle. And people have
Nope.
confused my pentacle with a Star David at times.
Mhm.
I've turned around and I've said to them, I said, look, it's not the Star David. No, I'm not Judaic. But then again, too, I have nothing but respect for the Jewish system anyway.
Mhm.
No beliefs anyway.
There you go.
Now, the thing about it is, if you turn the conversation around like that with people, you tell them you have not, you're not of their belief system, but you respect their belief system and you respect their faith and belief in their own belief. People tend to look at you with a more positive and more open.
They'll be
mind
more open to it. Thank you.
and
Mhm.
an awareness instead of being more hateful and resentful and scared and fearful when you say, I. Well, one of the things that you and I say to each other frequently, Sharon, is namaste.
Namaste.
My soul to yours.
Exactly. It's a beautiful greeting.
Right? It's a simple greeting. It's a one that just says my soul connecting to yours. In other words, we're all part of the universe together. Okay? And it's if you learn how to, and if you're non-pagan and you see someone pagan, and I mean, we got non-pagans that view our show, so I'm going to address the non-pagans as well here.
Right.
If you're non-pagan and you view someone who is wearing a pentacle or a Mjolnir or an Ankh or a god, triple goddess moon or a triquetra, right? Feel free to ask them what that is. We have no shame in saying what our symbols are.
Not at all.
We'll explain them to you. We are not afraid to explain them to you. All of our symbols represent life. And
That's very true.
that's the key thing to most pagans. You'll see pagans with various things, with Mjolnirs, with pentacles, even with a pentagram, the reverse star, which is a 5-pointed star, no circle around it, technically. And that's representative of third degree in several traditions. You have people wearing a triple moon goddess symbol. You have people wearing ketras and Celtic knots and stuff like that. Well, ask us what they mean.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking. This just happened because I forgot to mention this earlier before we started, but I remember now. This happened on the bus last weekend on Saturday. I was gonna see my best friend, and I had oh, hold on, I'll wait.
Welcome, Star Ann.
Hi, how are you guys? Good to see you guys. Thank you for inviting me.
I know you're a little behind on the topic. What we're discussing right now is how to talk to people who are pagan versus non-pagans, and how to sit there and address each other, and how to be polite and stuff like this, and how to come out of the broom closet in a positive light.
Okay.
Because too many people are afraid to come out of the broom closet, because they're like, well, what if people call me a Satanist? What if this? What if that?
Right.
And the thing about it is, and Christy makes a good point here. She said, and don't be upset if it means something different to them than exactly what it means to you. That's what we're talking about, our symbols. Like we wear Mjolnirs, we wear Ankhs, we wear pentacles, pentagrams, um, triple moon goddess symbols, triketras,
Yeah.
and so forth. And people sometimes confuse the symbols and what they mean when all of them represent life in general. But if we're not afraid, we should not be afraid to, or or upset that people
Yeah.
don't recognize what the symbols are. Instead of getting upset, we need to be able to and be open
Right, right.
about it. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And I would like you to finish up what you were saying just now. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay. This is a personal experience that just happened this Saturday. I was on my way to see my best friend, spend some time with her, and I'm always wearing what I wear because I don't hide nothing from people.
Right, right. Yeah.
So, out of all the people that were in that bus, there was a 10-year-old kid and his mom. The 10-year-old kid was very focused on my staff, and I have a whole bunch of good stuff going on with it.
Awesome.
So this 10-year-old kid was very curious, and then out of nowhere, I see that he touches my shoulder, and I asked him, I looked at him, and he goes, "You're a witch?" I said, "I am." He looked at me. He said, "Boys can be witches too." I said, "Yes, we can.
Yeah.
I don't see why not." Then he looked at me. Then he looked at his mom. I looked at the mom. The mom was actually nodding her head, and I'm like, "I smell lavender." She goes, "How do you know I'm wearing lavender?" I'm like, "I'm just saying." I mean, your kid's heading on the right direction. So the curiosity of most young witches are hitting them young.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a curiosity to them because they're so pushed between you should believe in this, you should go follow this, you should pray to this.
Yeah.
Instead of just let a person find nature and let nature guide the person to where it needs to be in life.
Absolutely. I agree with you. That was great the way you handled it.
Thank you.
Have you, Stein? Have you ever had experiences where people? I'm sure you've had. I mean, we all have. I mean, you're out of the broom closet as much as any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually was never in the broom closet. See, this is my mask. This is my mask. I still wear every day when I go out, if I go outside. This is it. And a few others I have, and they're all pagan symbols.
So,
Yeah.
knowing
So
that you like me, never been in the broom closet.
yeah,
Per se.
yeah. You
You don't
can't
even
go
know what that
in
is.
the closet. Baby's not going in the closet. Never was,
Okay.
never has been, never will be.
But
So
you
it
know,
all depends. In New York, I think where are you guys? Like, just
I'm
in
in
curiosity.
Boston,
I'm sorry?
Pennsylvania,
Massachusetts.
Okay. Edward,
Pennsylvania.
and you?
I'm in Iowa, dear.
Okay. In New York, I think they're a little bit more open-minded. Even the ones that come, which is New York is made up of people from all over different states, but they all come
Just
here
a lot
and
of
they all
diversity.
try to adapt to New Yorkers and how New Yorkers are. They're usually very open. Um, but again, because we've got so many different types of people, you do have people that are closed-minded and would come at you sometimes. So it all depends. But majority of times I'd be walking and I would have someone pass me by and they well dressed or whatever way they dress, either punk, goth, or well dressed in a Marnie suit, and they'd be like, "God us bless" or "Blessed be," and things like that. They would say to me, and you would not see their symbols, but they must have something. Otherwise, they would not be saying it to me as they pass by.
Or
Uh,
acknowledging.
yeah,
Or
Right.
acknowledging.
they acknowledge me all the time, like strangers on the street.
Right,
Doing
right.
me
They
all
know.
sorts, yeah, of all
That's
ages,
that's
of
another
all ages.
that's another thing for you non-pagans out there as well, right? You want if you see someone wearing a pagan symbol, right? And you're wondering well, how do I greet them? How do I talk to how do I talk to a pagan, right? What do I say to them? I don't want to offend because nowadays the whole world is all about not offending,
Made out of marshmallows.
right? But I don't want to offend. What do I say to a pagan? Well, blessed be,
Yes, yeah.
God is blessed, marry
Marry,
me.
marry me.
Actually, we're pretty hard to offend like that, seriously. We're
Right.
pretty hard to offend. Usually, if someone is greeting us in some sort of a way, we're happy to have the person greet us in that way because we usually don't get derogatory greetings kind of a
Even
thing.
hi, how are you?
Yeah,
Not,
but the majority of times, if they're greeting you regarding some symbol you have on,
And
it's
they're
all
and
been
they're,
positive. It's all
right.
exactly.
been
Hmm.
blessed be, goddess bless, oh mighty goddess, they've said to me, and even bowed and all these different things.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
only one I had one time, and I made it into a joke kind of a thing, a dramatic joke, because I was walking down on St. Mark's and they were eating outside in the outside area. You know how sometimes restaurants. This was before the pandemic. There were restaurants that had outdoor areas, and I'm
Right.
walking down, and this Spanish man was like, Diablo," and all the different things he started saying. And I'm passing by and I'm just like, okay, ignore him, ignore him. And then finally, when he kept on being so dramatic, I said, yes, be very aware, beware, because I'm coming for you. I did it
Oh
like
yeah.
so dramatically, you know what I
The
mean?
hunter dreams.
Yeah, I just kind of like made it so dramatic. And then the people in the restaurants, most of them that were there, were almost passing out. They were on the ground laughing so hard and rolling at him and stuff. Because if you're gonna come at me like that in such a dramatic way and you want everybody to know what's going on,
Then
then
I
I'm
might as well just tell
just
you
so
myself.
dramatic. And I reacted like that and like, yeah, be afraid.
I
Be
like that.
very afraid, kind of thing. I'm coming for you, kind of a thing. And his face took on this frightful look.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, got you. And I
Unfortunately,
walked away because I'm not gonna,
yeah.
you know, I'm not gonna just stand there and just not, not say anything in some
Not
way.
saying
You know
nothing.
what I mean?
Exactly.
So I just felt like I had to do what he's doing. If you're gonna be, with histrionics and everything, I'm gonna do the same, dramatic and all. So it ended up being a fun time because everybody else that were there were laughing so hard. It was funny. They had me laughing up too. So it's okay.
I think the most Christian moment, peaceful exchange of words that happened not so long ago right here in my clinic. I got up the elevator. Remember, I'm 6'2", 220. I see a lot of things little.
Yeah.
So I got up the elevator, it opened, and this Christian lady had a little veil on. You know how they dress. And she saw me. She took a step back and she said, "May God bless you." I said, "May the goddess bless you." She goes, "What goddess?" And I'm looked at her. I'm like, "What God?"
Yeah.
She looked at me, looked with confusion a little bit. I'm like, "You have a good day." Fucked her all up. Sorry, messed her head up all up.
Yeah. No, I do the same thing in that regards to if Christians do that with me or anything like that, or if they try to hand you pamphlets because they're all over. I say to them, I would gladly take yours if you would take mine. And I start pulling out our brochure from our academy and our temple, and they're looking at me like, I said, it's just a simple exchange. You could read mine and I'll read yours. How about
Just
that?
like that.
And they pull it back or something like that. Majority of times they don't see whatever it is because they don't want to have to take what I'm giving them because they see the pentagram on the front of the temple plate and all of that. And I'm like, it's only a fair exchange. If you're gonna want to give me information, I give you information as well. We should see both sides, right? And I have like this whole conversation with them about it, but they usually kind of walk away like looking at me like perplexed and everything,
All
It
right,
is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to go to break.
Yep.
Here, and we'll come back off break. I want to address a couple of things that we were talking about.
All right, we'll be right back right after these words.
I just walked into this coffee shop. You'll never guess what I found. All the help is deeply engrossed in metaphysical times. You should too. I'm at the Egyptian, 475 Park Avenue in Idaho Falls, Idaho. You get your very own copy for free, and we're open till 10.
Sister Moon Apothecary and More is a collaboration of local island witches bringing you handcrafted tools for ritual, amazing apothecary, custom vinyl work, merchandise, and so much more. But we are not just an online store. We are a sisterhood, a platform, and a voice for everything that is magical. Join us for our famous Tarot Tuesdays from 11 to 4 Eastern Standard Time for a discounted reading with our amazing in-house intuitive reader and priestess, Wolf Spirit Energy, Beverly Oberlin. You can find us on Facebook at Sister Moon Store or on the web at sistermoon.shop. So fly on over and stop in for a spell.
All right, and we are back with our roundtable discussion. And yeah, this has turned out to be a really good topic for us to talk about tonight.
Okay.
Can I start real quick? Just something real quick. This is for the young witches that are in our audience and the ones that'll probably see this later on. This whole video is just to educate y'all and how to handle things because nowadays young witches don't know how to handle things, even coming out or have they have came out because they really never experienced things like this before.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we talk about, because they have to have awareness that not everything's gonna go your way. Just because you plan a million things in your head before you open that door, only one thing will come out for the rest of your day, and it better make you happy. So always expect things to be not going your way. As a witch, we can make some corrections.
Mm-hmm.
We can only do so much.
Right.
But not everything's gonna go your way. But always expect good things to happen too. Like anything in life, you do a good deed as a witch gets rewarded.
Very
So
true.
take this as an educational thing for everything we're gonna say for the rest of the video for all the young ones. I call them young practitioners. I think that's an easy frame for everybody to understand.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right. Going back to some of the things we were talking about is how we have been approached by people of other faiths, and like I said earlier in the show before Star-Ann joined us, when approached by another person of a different faith, acknowledge their faith and their beliefs in a positive light, and they'll acknowledge you and yours 98% of the time. For example, like when you were just saying, you people tried handing you pamphlets and everything, Star-Ann, and then you
Yeah.
try to give them back thing, but back yours, so let's exchange information,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
acknowledgement in a positive light, folks, I mean, it really does do a lot to better our society too, as our community, our pagan community.
Right.
We want to get one of the things we fought so hard in the 90s and 80s for do, because I come from the 80s, okay, and I'm sure Star remembers a lot of the time in the 80s of being a witch. It was not acceptable back then.
No, it was not quite as much. But also, again, I think a lot of it, when I came in from Toronto, I didn't really travel around the US. I'm not a big one to travel around the US kind of person. So New York was the one I said, okay, this is a great place, especially coming in from Toronto, that I could at least tolerate, in the sense of like the people are more accepting, because in Toronto, it's very, very multicultural and the most blended place you've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of looking for similar, if I'm going to travel and do it, coming back from Europe. I stopped here and I ended up staying with my husband, and we ended up getting married and the whole bit. But in general, when you meet people back in the 80s, they were not quite as accepting. But my whole thing has been, if we're going to be friends, I'm going to be honest with you from the very beginning. This is who I am. If you cannot accept it, please don't be my friend. Please don't try to be my friend. My mom to this day has not accepted that I've been a witch, and it's been almost 50 years. That's my mom, and I told her I haven't changed, right? She said no. I said, so then we're good. Other than that, she will not accept my path that I took.
Right.
But in general, where my friends or any, or family members, I basically told them all, accept me as who I am, and I will accept you as who you are and respect
Real
your
easy.
religion and
Right.
everything else.
Right.
All I do is expect the same. If
That's
you
it.
cannot do that, we don't have to be family and we don't have to be friends. I don't need that many friends. It's okay.
I think the key ingredient here is just mutual respect.
Yeah,
And that's
that's all it
Exactly.
is. Because if you, I think that's the issue that a lot of people have. They put themselves in the closet. No one puts you there.
Right. Well, one of the
Okay.
things,
I cannot, and I will not put myself into that box or into that closet.
Right.
And if I'm not putting myself there, I certainly will not accept it from anyone else outside.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to just state it for what it is. And, I kind of go there with it from the very beginning. If they cannot accept that, then it's no skin off my back. I kind of just walk away and I go, good on you. Goddess bless.
Ain't gonna stop me from reading
Walk
tarot
out,
cards
you
when I
know?
get home.
It's no, I have nothing to lose in that
Right.
sense. But I do
Exactly.
understand.
Serious.
Right.
I do
I was just-
understand that there are jobs that, like a lawyer or a judge, that might be a little bit more difficult.
Actually,
I still think,
not as difficult.
you know, they can do it. You know, if they want to.
Diane, it's not as difficult as you think. I happen to know there are many pagan lawyers and
Mhm.
stuff like that. The witches come from all walks of life, folks, and this is
Yep.
one thing I want to stress.
Yep, they are.
They can be
They're out there.
they're your next door neighbor. They're your
Could be your mail. It could be your mailman.
your
Yes.
mailman, your next door
Right.
neighbor. We're out there.
Yeah.
We're humans, everyday human beings doing everyday human things along with everybody else. The only difference is we have a different religion than other people.
Exactly.
Different from
And, if
pretty
you,
much.
and you have to learn to have that acceptance of that. You
Yeah.
have to learn to become agreeable into understanding that, look, we have different belief systems. My mother actually finally relented that I was a witch, right? Because she did not she knew I was a witch, but she didn't accept it at the time, right? But she sent me a Yule card, an actual Yule
Nice.
card,
That's awesome.
and I'm like,
Nice.
you finally got it right, Ma.
Yeah, that is so nice. My mom would never do it.
Finally
Check
got
But
it
it's
this out.
okay. It's all good. We still love each other.
Last year, my mom didn't give me nothing for Christmas. She celebrated Halloween as a Christmas, so she gave me a witch hat.
Oh, nice. Nice. My mom is way too Christian. Way too
That's how my
solid
grandmother
in the heart of the everything Christian. My mom is solidly set in the end, would never deviate.
Mhm.
And you know, so it's
There's
unacceptable.
nothing that can be said to take them
No,
to the left or to the right.
Nothing. And she's still trying to save me.
No.
She's
Not
still
gonna happen.
trying
Well.
to save me every time we speak on the phone. Jesus Christ, precious blood, bless her. I'm
For
like,
real, yo.
and then I would try to bless her, and she kind of shuts me up. You know, it's like it's never
They don't
gonna
want to
happen.
hear
That's
it.
okay. I'm accepting of that. You know, we don't discuss it when we get together at all.
Right. And I know I've said this before on one or two of our broadcasts, but even though I have been personally out myself ever since I came into this community, and especially for the job that I'm doing, and when I had moved back home from living in Coralville for a while, my hometown is population is 1,300, has been that way for many years, and we have like, I think I've counted, yeah, we have 9 different churches for that small town area. And when the local newspaper caught wind that I was doing internet radio and podcasting for the pagan community, I got interviewed. And so needless to say, I got publicly outed by our hometown newspaper. And it's like, okay, no problem. And I thought for sure, being in a small town with like 9 different churches, like I had a feeling I'd hear some sort of repercussion or something, but nah, nothing happened. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It sounds a lot like when you go to visit Salem, Massachusetts. Like, I mean, I have never seen a place that's so small at the same time, but a church is on every other block or every block. I've never seen,
Serious, dude.
I've
Like,
never seen
really.
anything like it before in my life.
As a world and state traveler, I can tell you right out,
What?
I've been to several places that fit that description of small towns.
Yeah,
That-
that's so
there's-
amazing.
There's
That's
a church and a
amazing.
bar on every block,
Yeah.
and they're normally right between each other.
No, you can do either or. You can drink, repent, or drink. You pick.
Yeah.
But no, one of the things that, like I said, one of the things that one of the key aspects of coming out of the closet. Well, I came out of the closet when I was 8 years old. At 13, right, I had the opportunity to be fully out of the broom closet. I had a unique opportunity. Okay, when I was in 13, I was on Guam, and they wanted to separate the islanders from the military brats, and I was a military brat, so we were forced to go to a Catholic school. Okay, we weren't allowed to go to public school. So our Catholic school had the honor of being one of the places visited by Pope John Paul II.
There we go.
And we got allowed an audience with the Pope. So I had the fortunate opportunity at the age of 13 to piss off the Pope.
How you do it? That's how you do it.
I got excommunicated
Oh
from the
dear.
Catholic Church before I was even confirmed. And I was forced to go to public school because I was thrown out of the Catholic school.
All right, go ahead.
So I was allowed. I had that unique experience of being able to be, if you want to really come out of the closet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share something with y'all. In high school, I used to always draw my pentagram on every desk I used to sit on.
There you go.
Every desk that wasn't Camden High School because they turned the school down, but every desk that I sat on from 9th grade all the way to I finished high school had a pentagram with my 3 initials in there.
There you
So-
go. Awesome.
So this is what I want to say, contribute to the young witches coming out. Most of y'all in high school right now. I was a witch in high school. To be a witch in high school with the mentality that you have to be on, you have to be firm with yourself. So that's going to be your energy.
Mhm.
High school is a different world than the world apart than the one you live in right now. High school wasn't easy for us. I could imagine it's not going to be easy for this young youth right now.
Right.
So that's why I look up to each and one of y'all, even you, sister, that I just met today. Y'all may be younger, maybe older than me, but we are going to be the new ancestors of the witches coming up coming up now.
Yeah.
So I believe that it's going to be up to us to be answering these questions. So I encourage, again, like Brother Edwards said, ask questions. Be curious about some things that you do not know about.
Right.
Be curious about that.
And just so you know, not everyone's going to have the time always to answer all your questions, but they can certainly give you a card or something like that you can always call later on or whatever. Because I honestly don't usually have the time, and everybody wants me to take a time to educate them as I'm outside, and I'm like, I really don't have that time.
Really?
And I would be like, I have a school now. You're welcome to join us, and you will learn all you want at your convenience or my convenience. Then but we do try to answer as best as we can.
Much as possible.
Yeah.
As much as possible, I think it's up to us elders in the community to we have a responsibility to the younger generation.
Yeah.
And the responsibility as an elder. The responsibility as an elder who does have the time. Yeah, true. We all have busy lives. We all live lives standing around the thing.
Mm-hmm.
We live and breathe, but we also live and breathe the craft. Those of us elders who are in the craft for a long time, we live and breathe it.
I do know that I'm always very busy. So
Yeah.
I have cards in my bag or my car or whatever it is, and I'm always handing it to people and saying, "You're welcome to call me."
Yeah.
But the thing about it is our responsibility to educate. This is
Yes.
part of the reason we do this forum that we're doing here tonight, is to educate the new witches, to educate the people who are not witches even on how to address.
So, Sister Patsy.
Right. And good evening, Patsy. Welcome, and appreciate you being here.
Chill.
The point is, take the moment if you can. Okay, if you see if you know of a witch, or you actually run into a witch and you can tell by their symbols, because we love our symbols. Witches do wear their symbols openly.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're a non-witch and you want to approach them, ask us what that symbol represents.
That's
We'll be
it.
happy, we'll be happy
Right.
to take a few brief moments to explain it's about a symbol of life. And even if that's how we answer you, it's a symbol of life. Well, what's it called? A pentacle? What's it called? An ankh? What's it called? A triquetra? Right? Once you know that what it's called, you can go address another. You see someone else with, oh, nice pentacle, right?
And
We're
and
going
you
to
know
acknowledge. We're going to acknowledge that you, at least even if you're not a witch, you're open-minded and willing to, sit there and compliment us instead of come at us like we're not human and stuff like that. We're going to accept you a lot more if you come out like that. Ask us what our symbols represent. Ask us what they mean. Talk to us, those who have the time. We'll spend a little bit of time to sit there and to explain something and not go into detail, but it's up to us elders to do that. And I
Right.
fully believe that, and I fully support that.
Yes, I agree with that.
And you would
Completely.
find also a lot of, unless it's taken away with the way things are going in Congress, but we usually have places that will accept us as a religion also, because when I had to go and have surgery at NYU Joint Disease, they asked all these questions, and one of them was, what religion are you? I said, I'm a wedge. And they said, well, we have all of these here, choose which one. And then I saw, instead of the usual other, I saw Wicca. I said, I will take that.
Fuck it.
I
Sorry.
said,
Oh,
it's kind of, and I had to explain. She goes like, what does that mean? I said, witcha just means it's a witch. A male witch is the A,
Exactly.
and witchy is the female. I explained all of that. And I said, but it doesn't matter. I will accept that because it is as close other is better than other.
Exactly.
And I said, I will
Right.
take it with both hands and hold on to it real tight. And so they have it in all of the places that I go to for my medical treatments as that's my religion.
What I'm talking about.
Right. Wicca
Yeah.
is Wicca since the Detmer Act, 1982, and the Detmer Act. Wicca has been.
Yeah. But so many things are being taken away right now. I would not be surprised if that would not be on the chopping block too. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, for right now, we have those rights and they're there at the hospitals and things like that, and they will abide by it. And I
Right.
applaud that.
That's because of the Detmer Act, 1982, when Wicca was finally when Wicca declared itself a religion.
Yeah. Clinton did that.
Yep.
Clinton was the one who did that.
Yes,
Right.
it did.
If it weren't for that, we'd still be like
Yeah.
I said.
I think it was the Awareness League, right? That
Yeah.
with Laurie Cabot and the Awareness League that went to Clinton, and they got us that right.
Right.
And there were books that were placed in what's his name, Curlian, I think is his name. He was a police officer, so he had written a book to give the police departments on
Right.
paganism and what you see, like the athame. Don't just go touching it thinking the person has it as a weapon, all these different things, so
Right.
it was
And the
kind of
same
cool.
thing with the military. Same thing
Yeah.
with the military.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
did
Exactly.
And
So
training.
that was a big step forward.
Mhm.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, great.
And there's now actually a national organization for pagan police.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, I came across it. I've come across it a couple times, and yeah, it's actually it's a nationally recognized organization for pagan police.
Okay. Sounds good. I would love to have info on that because
Yeah,
I have a lot of the military people that contact me a lot because,
Right.
and they would come
As-
from wherever, different states,
As
Ohio,
do-
Tennessee, and
do I,
visit
because
us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
with the PRC, I get that frequently. From other groups. I get contacted with the Pagans Rights Coalition to make sure
Oh,
that
that's
we're
cool.
getting up.
That's
Because that's what my job is. I'm Pagans Rights Coalition founder.
I'm probably the only different one here. I practice a solitary craft.
well, we all solitary.
And one
Yeah.
in all
Especially
right.
because we don't have a coven. I made sure to not have it as a coven. We have a temple, and everybody is solitary. And that's the way, because no matter what, even if you belong to a tradition that is, whether it's Alexandrian or Gardnerian, you practice at home as a solitary.
By
That's
yourself.
Right.
how I see it.
Right.
That's how I see it. I could be
Mhm.
wrong, but that's how I see it. So,
Yep.
yeah, I
Well,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to really have to cut this one short tonight, but it was going to be a shorter thing, and I am getting a summoning from nature herself, and I'm
She don't play, man. She don't play.
we're gonna call this an evening. I thank everybody for attending this evening with me, and this for discussion. Always good to have you, and always good to come back more. And everybody else in the audience, thank you for attending our show this evening.
And I believe that we should do. I get the feeling that we should do a part 2 for this next week.
We probably will do a part 2 on this one.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot more that should be discussed, a lot more that needs to be discussed as well.
Yeah.
So we will be doing a part 2 probably next week.
All right. Just let me know when. Well, good.
I'll drop your line.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen,
Thank you all for
sister,
having me as
I
well.
just met you. I'll send you a friend request.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Take care.
brother Edward Earl.
Merry part and blessed be everybody.
Mary Part. Namaste,
Blessed
brother.
be. And I will also end off with saying good night, good evening, and pleasant journeys, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. And again, we will be taking this up next week for part 2. So be sure to tune in then. Have a good night. We are going to be done for the evening.